of the family shelter is number one, to keep families together.
It's a footing for us until we can get our own footing back, and that's the best thing about it. Yeah, but you have no idea what kind of a weight it is lifted off your back, knowing that you're not going to be sleeping in your car tomorrow.
These families are in crisis for one reason or another. Lack of employment or health care reasons, or they've become homeless in our community. And in fact, the last thing you want to do to a family in crisis is split them up, but that's the only option we've had in the past.
Now this is a full-time job, them placing phone calls to see if there's a place for them and their family to be safe. And they keep getting an answer that sounds like there isn't one. I was sick of getting those phone calls. That frustration and passion is really where this project was born out of.
I thought it was a really good idea. Like, I've never heard of a family shelter before, and so when I saw it, it was definitely very nice. And it was a really good place, because then me and my family, we could all, you know, live here and be able to get on our feet, and there were resources we could use. And so it's definitely a good place to live.
We need to rethink the number of people living in poverty in Prescott, and also start to re-educate them and redirect them and utilize these people for the vital services that they can provide. But before that, they need to move out of crisis and be stabilized. And that's what our shelter service is for, to help people get stabilized.
In Prescott, we have a shelter for women, a shelter for teens, and men's shelter, but we had no place for families to go.
My name's Chris. I'm 15. I live here. It's kind of our last place to go. I'm so glad we had somewhere to go.
I was in a position where I couldn't be with my family and take care of all the expenses of living. So this kind of gives us the opportunity to save money enough to get caught up on things we owe and get a place whenever that time comes. So.
Originally, it was an interesting idea, and now that we've been here for a month, I realize it's been for the better.
Truly a blessing. The community really can be enriched and benefit from having this.
When someone who is in crisis gets to me, it's because they've called everyone else in town, and now they're just desperate, trying to look for someone that will give them an answer that doesn't sound ridiculous. The board of directors of PAWS and the folks that work at PAWS, we knew that we needed something for families. We were tired of answering the phone and telling families that the best we could do was force them to separate. 75% of the homeless families we've seen are veterans and military families. This is the problem that we're seeing. This is the influx of services that we're seeing. Trying to communicate the urgency of the need to the community was the start. And then, once people get it, once their eyes are open to the fact that the problem actually exists, they're at the table.
Ever since Secretary Shinseki took over as the VA administrator, and that would be 2009, and he said 165,000 homeless veterans wandering around the country, he said, is unacceptable. So one of his goals was to eliminate veteran homelessness.
The world and be our, have our own place.
And the shelter's kind of guiding us towards that path.
Yes.
It's not telling us you have to go here. It's telling us you should go here. This is the right way to go.
Yeah.
The family shelter is going to be serving families that are any adult or adults with dependent children and coming from anywhere in Yavapai County, our Tri-City area, and but we could also serve families from outside the area as well if they find themselves in Prescott and need a place to go stay.
Really can't explain having this place to come to every day. I sleep better at night. Him and I get to hang out a lot more than we used to. We have a sense of freedom now. I don't know what it is, but we didn't have it before.
It was actually like a really big blessing, because we would have had no other place to go.
It's nice for me to look forward to going home.
Yeah.
And have a place to call home. Give me my life back. It's giving me a chance to be a mom again. And it's really given me a chance to take care of my family and my kids.
I've known people that needed help and things like that, but
Spread the word that there is a family shelter. We have a new house, so we need household items, beds and kitchen utensils, sheets, anything like that. We'll need a lot more volunteers. We have 100 at the women's shelter, but we'll need more for the family shelter that we're opening.
Support the program is to donate your hours or your time, or see what you can do to help out. You know, those that are fortunate to be on their own, not have been there, donate some hours, or go by the shelter or call and say, hey, can you take a donation, or can I help out with hours here or there, or recommend someone towards the program?
We need a lot of community support to help the family shelter at this point in time. It's a new program. It's the first of its kind in this area, so we need community support, financial donations, in-kind donations, and volunteers to come forward and help us to launch this effort.
The family shelter that we've opened right now is 6 units, and that's wonderful. And we needed it, and it's going to be the tip of the iceberg of the problem that we actually have to solve. You know, as a community group, while we're celebrating the opening of the family shelter, we're also rolling up our sleeves, taking an assessment of that bridge again, and planning what the next plank is. How do we get families even one step closer to being on their own and self-secure? And this is a start, but it's not. I keep saying it's an answer to the problem. It's not the answer to family homelessness. So we've got more work to do.
The most important thing to remember is that this could happen to anyone. These are hard times, and people in hard times are supported in this community. The family shelter is a leg up and a fallback to be there when it's needed most. It's a way to keep your family together when your world seems to be falling apart. It's a reminder that you are not and will never be alone.